because you've set the bar so low in your mind that this team won't be successful. I think you're wrong. Winning is never an accident. It's about a respect for a culture, instilling core values, and just having discipline and an unshakable commitment to excellence. If you instill that, success will follow. And that's what I believe Aaron Glenn represents with the New York Jets.
Jumping that Raven just to look up. We gotta stay on 10 toes so they don't book us. And yeah, I got their ears now when I cook up. When we've been winning so long, no way to overlook us. No.
As the adult in the room, an Air Force veteran, someone who is in private industry business for the better part of the last 7 years, I can tell you that my experiences are the same across the board. Success is not an accident. It is a part of the fabric of everything you do within that structural business, right? Football team, Air Force squadron, right? From the leadership down. Everyone's got to believe in the same things, follow the same principles, and operate within the framework of those core values. Step by step. That's how you need to move. And I believe that just taking a look at what the Detroit Lions did 4 years ago, right, when they hired Campbell as their head coach, they were a 3-win football team. 3 wins, right? You have to ask yourself, are the New York Jets going to win 3 games this year? Probably not. In fact, if you just look at the way that Detroit team has progressed over the years, from 3 wins to 9 wins to 12 wins to 15 wins, I would say that realistically speaking, this Jet team is already somewhere in that 9-win range. So one could say they're a year ahead of that team's pace, right? Now, again, every team is different. No 2 teams are created equally, but we kind of look at things from a business perspective, sports analytics, and we say it's a copycat league. Everything is a copycat. When there's success, you're going to try to study it, learn from it, and then make it your own. So that's kind of how this whole thing works. Jets have hired a coach like Dan Campbell was in Detroit. Aaron Glenn, a former player here with the New York Jets, right? So you have that part in place already. You have a GM who is experienced in the game with talent evaluation, and Aaron Glenn himself was a scout with the Jets, talent evaluation, player development. I think the Jets have already hit a home run in terms of those two gentlemen in their respective roles. Now, obviously, nothing matters until we hit the field and the games are played. But look at the roster already. I mean, on the defensive side, Quinnen Williams obviously leads the way up front. Sauce Gardner in the back. And then you've got really good linebackers in the middle. You just re-signed Sherwood. We don't know what's going on with Quincy Williams as of today's date on this recording. So, whether he's there or not, you have to be somewhat confident in Aaron Glenn's ability to develop whoever's going to be out there on the defensive side of the ball. And not just Aaron Glenn, but again, when you talk about the culture that's instilled and the core values and the principles, him as the leader, you have to be confident in whoever's out there on the field, coaches and players, that they will be able to develop and get the job done at a high level. That's what we're looking at here with the New York Jets. Again, let's go back and look at the Detroit Lions, right? Look at who they've had. The same receiver the past 4 years. St. Brown was their leading receiver. But look at the running backs. They've had a different leading rusher each of the last 4 years under Campbell. That's a very encouraging sign. In fact, I'd argue when we talk about these players, Sauce, Garrett, Jermaine Johnson, AVT, who's not going to get the contract? Again, I know Saquon just did what he did when the Giants let him go, but let's be real about this. More than likely, the player that's going to be left out is Breece Hall. More than likely, the player that's going to be traded away is Breece Hall. And if I were the Jets, I'm not saying I'd trade him right now, but, if they hadn't done what they've done with Fields and they were trying to move up in this draft, he probably would have been a piece that you had to move, especially if you don't want to give up next year's 1, for example, right? To try to go from 7 to 1. Let's just say they wanted to draft 1 overall. or 2 overall. Just hypothetically speaking, I believe you would have had to do 7 in Breece Hall, a player of that caliber. Fortunately, I don't think the Jets are going to be doing anything with the quarterback in the first round. At least I hope not. St. Brown's been the leading receiver. I would say 1-for-1 Garrett Wilson, he'll be our leading receiver, okay? And then you throw in the fact that Montgomery led 1 year, Gibbs was the other year. In the previous 2 years, the leading rushers were Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. I think right now the Jets roster is better than whatever Detroit had coming into the 21 and 22 seasons. The Jets are definitely better than those two teams. I mean, without a doubt. And again, year 2, the Lions went 9-8. Right? I mean, there's no reason to think that this is going to be a 3-win football team or a 4-win football team. And previously, I think we had the roster, we had the players, we had the quarterback. We didn't have the culture. I think we were starting to get there, but the team took on a little bit of Robert Saleh's personality, and the team got a little bit passive. And right away, I think Aaron Glenn already knows what not to do. We will probably one day thank Robert Saleh for his contributions. That's how good I think this team will be. And Joe Douglas. I don't think that they did a terrible job in terms of, doing the process. They brought in talent. They went and got a quarterback eventually after the talent was established. Yes. Remember, they were a potentially playoff-bound team 1 year with Zach Wilson and then Mike White starting pretty much every game. At the end of the day, if you go to the playoffs with Zach Wilson and Mike White, you're doing something. And the Jets were that close. All things told, this is Aaron Glenn's team now. This is Muji's team now, right? These 2025 New York Jets, I believe, will win at least 9 games. And when it comes to the fan base, you will either be thoroughly impressed or you're so against the moves they've made thus far because they don't have a household name, a 4 or 5-time Pro Bowler that they've signed, or any huge superstar. They do have the one recognizable name, the most recognizable, which is the quarterback, Justin Fields. But you, who just doubts everything that the Jets have done thus far, you hate everything I love about the moves they've made, I think you will be blown away because you've set the bar so low in your mind that this team won't be successful. I think you're wrong. This is Jets Express. I'm Ben Little. If you like anything you've heard, remember to like, and please do subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.
Jumping that Raven just to look up. We gotta stay on 10 toes so they don't book us. And yeah, I got their ears now when I cook up. When we been winning so long, no way to overlook us. Nah.